Welcome to Stecker Studios. In this episode, we put the finishing touches on both of our double pinch pot vases. Now here are both of our double pinch pot vases from last time. The first revision I'm going to do in this session is to even out the rims on both of these pots by shaving down some of the higher areas using a rasp tool. If you're using this tool, just be careful, take your time, and be careful not to shave off too much at one time. Now I'll use a sponge to clean off the marks of the rasp tool and follow this up with a soft rib tool to push down any of the sand that came up after using the sponge. Now with the rims refined, it's time to cut open our pots. Now I'm going to use a little circle cutter here to begin our cuts and or at least give me a nice circle to trace. Because the clay here is a little too thick to cut with the circle cutter, but it'll give me a good idea of how big and how round this hole is going to be. So I'm going to mark both pots with the same tool. Now let's switch over to a knife and trace around the circle that we just made until we cut through our pot. Try to avoid stabbing motions or trying to saw, because in that case you might end up creating a little bit more work for yourself with unclean cuts. So try to keep those cuts nice and clean. Now my first knife wasn't quite long enough, so I'm switching over to an X-Acto blade, which will get me all the way through. And this one cuts nice and easy, so I can just trace around the circle a few times, and then what I'm going to do is actually cut it into pieces so that it doesn't get stuck on the way out, and it should come out a little bit easier. So just be patient here as you're cutting. What I'm trying to avoid is having this whole big plug fall onto the inside of my pot. Now if I can cut it into smaller pieces and the smaller pieces fall in, those should come out a lot easier. And at the same time, don't wreck the top of your rim here and all the hard work that you've put into it so far. Okay, so here it is. They're coming out in small pieces. Now, it's important to remember, once we start cutting into the pot, it's no longer an air bubble. We're popping that air bubble. So the air bubble that was there originally is no longer going to be supporting our clay. I've made sure to wait till my pot is sufficiently leather hard so that I don't damage it while I'm trying to cut or handle it. Now that I've fully cut open the pot, I'm going to go back over it here with this fettling knife and just kind of reach inside and hopefully smooth out my cuts a little bit, making sure that the inside of the rim right there is nice and smooth and the hole is sufficiently wide enough. Now that all the cutting's done on this one and all the scraps are removed, just one last little cleanup to finish everything up with a damp sponge, just kind of smoothing out the rim. And then I'm going to kind of go back over this one more time with the soft rib tool just to kind of smooth anything out and make sure I'm not leaving any sandy particles behind, and just making sure all my work is nice and presentable. And now the wide pinch pot vase will get the same treatment. Now it's time for the last little bit of cleanup. And that just about does it for our double pinch pot vases. And as always, thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing.